Hey, out of order, James Kalita here. Welcome to episode 1 of the Second Amendment today. It is Monday the 10th, and what's going on? Well, I got blocked from Facebook again today. Posted an awesome interview with the Reverend Ken Blanchard and sharing it on Facebook, and all of my recent two-way posts were flagged as spam, and I was kicked out of my account. So that's part of the reason we're doing this podcast. It's part of the reason we have the email list. So if you head over to secondamendment.today or outoforderjameskalita.com, you can sign up for the email list. We'll keep you up to date on what's going on in the two-way world. And so what's going on today in the two-way world? Well, I want to thank Henry again for sending this hat over. Like I said, today's interview on the Out of Order Gun Rights podcast was with Ken Blanchard. He's a pastor, author, podcast host. He's also a Marine, former federal officer, and has worked as a firearms trainer for the CIA. We talked about a whole bunch of stuff. Talked about gun rights activism before the internet, his Bam Bam University. We even talked a little bit about music, wearables, and motorcycles. So check that out. You can find that over outoforderjameskalita.com/70. And let's see, what's going on? I interviewed Kirk Yatras this morning. He is the vice president of Firearms Owners United over in Australia, and he was there. He remembers being a kid and walking in the the pro-gun rallies back in '96, and just like in New Jersey when we had those rallies a few years back, and they took pictures early in the morning with nobody there. That's what they did to those guys over in Australia back in '96. And we talked about some of the new laws that they've passed since then, and we talked about his own lawsuit against the police in Australia, how they're trying to reclassify his handgun as a rifle so that they can take it from him. So if you look out for that, that's going to air on the 24th, and it's the 24th of September. But tomorrow we have an episode with Tom Cohey. He is the chairman of the Project Appleseed Oversight Committee, and he's also a custom holster maker. Also, we're going to have John Anoni, founder of Camp Compass. That's going to be on Wednesday. He's also an author. He's been for 20 years now taking kids out of the city and teaching them how to hunt. Thursday, Jay Factor is back, and he's going to talk about how gun smuggling in New Jersey helped the Revolutionary War. In other 2A news, speaking of Facebook, Forbes recently published an article, how gun ranges get put in Facebook jail. 11,000 bear permits were sold in New Jersey in spite of the Jersey governor trying to ban the New Jersey bear hunt. And Anthony Calandro received the Second Amendment Activists of the Year award at the NRA annual meeting. Let's see, and Crime Prevention Research Center, that's John Lott's page, they published an article asking, is there a cost to banning felons from owning guns? And talked about how a young mother who used a firearm to defend her baby and her home against a home invader is now facing illegal possession charges because of a previous marijuana conviction. Over in Washington, if you go to the doncivil.blogspot.com, he's got an article about how if we don't fight, we can't win, and we can win. And they're fighting some pretty horrendous firearms laws being proposed as ballot measures over in the state of Washington. Let's see. David Hogg commits another felony. First expulsion of Smith & Wesson, and now he wants Canadians to make illegal donations to American elections. I guess he only cares if it's Russians that are making the illegal contributions. So, let's see. And a 16-year-old girl from Spanaway, Washington, used a firearm to successfully defend against a home intruder. Let's see. And pro-gun podcasts that were released today, of course, Gun for Hire, episode 380 is out. Anthony talks about the annual dinner, annual NRA Awards dinner, and Dad Hackers, not typically a firearms podcast, but they interviewed a firearm safety instructor and talked about setting up your complete personal protection plan, pistol and firearm safety, situational awareness, and how to educate kids about firearms. So that is the first episode of Second Amendment Today. If you head over to secondamendment.today, there's no .com, just secondamendment.today, You'll find links to all the articles I mentioned, the podcast episodes, and out of order, James Kalita. We'll see you next time.